Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Today we are going to go with some Chelsea news, and you can probably see on the thumbnail, you can probably tell from the title of this video that I am not a happy bunny coming into today's video. In fact, a happy bunny would be a little bit too soft. Look, we've got to be raging lions here. We've got to be roaring bloody lions when it comes to analysing the painstakingly obvious flaws at our football club right now. And unfortunately for Jhon Duran, the Aston Villa 20-year-old Colombian striker, you're in the firing line today, mate, because you might not be an awful footballer, but I've got to talk about you in the context of what Chelsea need, and somehow, as this tweet here from Chelsea Transfer says, this Chelsea team is screaming for experience, and the sporting directors have shortlisted 20-year-old Jhon Duran as a possible solution. There is another Premier League proven goal scorer who you've also seen on the thumbnail that we're going to talk about later. But first things first, Chelsea will be playing Liverpool at Wembley in the Carabao Cup Final. Last night, I'll give you a little story time, shall I? I was in bed. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I wake up and I've got this itching all over my fingers. I'm looking and I'm like, I can't see anything because it's dark, but I'm just scratching. I'm like, the bloody mosquitoes have been going to town on me hand. So I go to the bathroom, start putting some cream on it, and I'm like, I'm wide awake. Let's watch Liverpool versus Fulham in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Not going to lie to you, I know that Liverpool have probably been one of, if not the best team in the Premier League so far this season. Debatable, I guess, for some of you. But I would say Chelsea can flipping beat them. We saw it at the beginning of the season. We go to Anfield on the 31st of January. That might be a bit of a teaser, but it's also a bit of a, not a throwaway for Chelsea. You can never say that in a Liverpool-Chelsea fixture. But you go to Anfield and you don't expect to win. Let's put it that way. But on a one-off cup final, as we can see here from these tweets, Chelsea must overcome Wembley curse to lift the Carabao Cup, as Ben Chilwell and Thiago Silva admit they have unfinished business. Rumour has it there was a conversation going on in the showers after Chelsea beat Middlesbrough 6-1, and Chile was saying, yeah, me and Thiago were just talking about that. I think Chelsea are going to be up for this one after what I saw against Middlesbrough, where the club, the team, the manager, everybody came under such public scrutiny of abnormal levels, I would say, but like justified abnormal after that first leg defeat. The response was excellent. We've beaten Fulham since then. We've also beaten now Middlesbrough 6-1, and Liverpool in the final. It is as we expected. They drew 1-1 last night against Fulham. But as I said, I was watching it and I'm not looking at Liverpool thinking I'm scared. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want to get carried away. You know, there's a lot of people that said in yesterday's video, you got to stop being so negative. We just won 6-1. Look, I love that 6-1 win. It's absolutely magnificent, but it ain't a 38-game Premier League season. So when I see those levels 5-6 times in a row, then you can call me out for being negative, because that would be unnecessary. Do you know what I mean? But Chelsea-Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final, I would absolutely love to get back to the UK for it. Hopefully, there could be a brand that wants to work with me to get me to the match, because flights are bloody expensive and I'm already going for my mum's birthday in March. So hopefully I can get myself back there. So, guys, I'm sorry, we're not here to talk about great news regarding Karim Benzema. There's 6 days left in the transfer window. This is the latest. Benzema is being offered to clubs on loan until the end of the season. This is tweeted by Simon Phillips through Matt Law. But the most interesting news that we have heard from Matt Law in the past 24 hours is, do you remember about a week or so ago, I talked to you about Jhon Duran? And I made the reference to Duran Duran. It's a band that my mum used to listen to, that I was forced to listen to in the car on my way to school. This is a disastrous idea. I'm sorry, the bloke has only scored 2 goals at Aston Villa. The majority of the time that he's playing, he's coming off of the bench. We're going to be facing him maybe if Unai Emery gives him a game tomorrow in the FA Cup. So I might look and sound like an absolute melon here if Jhon Duran comes to Stamford Bridge, his potential next home, and absolutely slices us like a flipping watermelon tomorrow night. Maybe that happens. I wouldn't be too surprised if it did, now that I've said this. But, look, the problem is here, Jhon Duran is not the answer to our problems. Chelsea needs experience. It has become so painstakingly obvious that what this club needs are leaders. We need people on the field that we don't have to 110% nurture into something. We need ready-made, proven players to walk in and improve our starting 11. When you look at the money that Chelsea have spent, and then you probably look at the bench that we're going to be able to field tomorrow night in this FA Cup game against Villa, it's alarming how many injuries that we've had. But also, as a result of all of these injuries, there is a severe lack of first-team squad members who are actually old enough here to be able to take on tactical instructions and lead by example. And it's why, even though I've been very clear that after that Middlesbrough defeat, I wanted to see Pochettino go, yes, winning 6-1 can do a lot to make someone change their mind. But I also think, at this point, Pochettino himself is fighting a losing battle without any control over the variables that he actually should have control over. And that is the sporting directors of the club shortlisting 20... Oh, bloody hell, that's an interesting bug we got on the floor. Let me see if I can get him on the pen. No, he don't want to go on the pen. 20-year-old strikers are not the answer to this issue. It's just another young player that we'd need time to bleed in. I'm so sick of it, guys. I really am. And there is an example here of a striker, and this has come from Nizar Kinsella. Not Chelsea, but Callum Wilson is available at a competitive price for a Premier League proven goal scorer. Premier League PSR rules have forced Newcastle to consider selling important players. Hold the flipping door open for me here for 1 second, all right? I'm not saying... And this is where there is a debate to be had here. I don't think Callum Wilson is the long-term answer to Chelsea's problems. And I don't think that's because he's not an elite striker. He's not an elite striker, but I don't think Callum Wilson is the right answer. But it is an option. The debate that I'm having amongst myself in my head here is that is Callum Wilson, even at a competitive price, going to be a striker that Chelsea look at and he scores a few goals because he always scores goals in the Premier League wherever he is. But is it going to be enough? Is the injury record a problem? Yes. Is Callum Wilson one of those signings that papers over the cracks enough that the house don't fall down for another year, but then we're sat here in a year and Osimhen's gone to Arsenal, Benjamin Sesko's gone to bloody Bayern Munich, Harry Kane signed the contract extension for life. Like, is there a world here where Callum Wilson is a good shout, but then also so is an elite level striker? If Chelsea were to bring in Callum Wilson right now, I'd be pretty happy with this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. He's got Premier League experience. He's got a brilliant Premier League goal scoring record. But I also think if the club are being ambitious, if the club really look at what Pochettino's had to work with, look at the core issues and fundamentals that have been wrong this season, if the club have got any footballing savvy about them whatsoever, we still buy an elite striker. So, we've gone from what the hell are we doing, talking about Jhon Duran, which at the moment, actually, if we're talking about this from a Chelsea news perspective, this looks the most likely. From all of the sources and all of the news that we're reading at the moment, Fabrizio Romano has also quoted on this as well, talking about Jhon Duran to Chelsea. For me, this is just not good. And maybe he is going to be an unbelievable striker. 20 years old, Colombian. All right, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm at this point now where, yeah, Cole Palmer's also young, but he's been brilliant. So we can't say that all of the young players that this new ownership have bought have been bad, because they're not all bad. But at the same time, some of them are good. Yeah, so like, let's just start infiltrating experience into this to alleviate that pressure off of some of those youngsters so that we don't all have to sit here saying that they're championship standard right now week after week after week and making excuses. So yeah, Callum Wilson, I'm open to this idea, you know. I don't think it is the most stupid thing I've ever heard, but at the moment, Jhon Duran is the most likely. Benzema is still wanting to leave Al Ittihad in this January transfer window. To me, that is still the best option. A loan move for Karim Benzema. Get the groundwork underway for Victor Osimhen for that pre-contractual agreement so that he joins Pochettino, I'm going to say, at this point in time, because that was a good win against Borough. So he can join Pochettino's Chelsea for pre-season next year. Look, we've got Aston Villa in the FA Cup this weekend, so there will be a preview for the Villa game in a few hours. It's going to be like an evening Thursday upload for you lot. And stay tuned, because before the game tomorrow, there may well be news. Subscribe to the new vlog channel, link in the description also. Hit the like if you enjoyed this one. Come on, you Blues.